Welcome to Workout Wednesday, week 30. This week we're going to be creating a mobile view of an existing report. In this case, we're going to take a sample report from PowerBI.com and we'll go ahead and transform that into a mobile view like you can see here. So this will be what we're doing today, and then at the end of it, what we'll actually do is, if you have an iPhone, we can create a shortcut on Siri so that you can open your mobile report whenever you would like to with a Siri command. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing that we're going to do is download the COVID-19 US sample report. So go to your Power BI desktop, go to Get Started under File if you're not in this view already. Go to Download a Sample. It's going to take you to this Get Samples for Power BI website, and in here you'll actually find the COVID-19 sample here. You can see it's on the left. And if you scroll down, there's a downloadable file. So we're going to go ahead and download this file. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this file and we'll get started. All right, so we've opened our COVID-19 dashboard. Here you can see that there are click actions. You can look at confirmed cases or total deaths. You can look at daily increments or cumulative. For our mobile dashboard, we're just going to look at cumulative, but I am going to provide a selection between confirmed cases and total deaths, so we'll get to that in a minute. First thing I want to do is actually make a couple of small adjustments here. So if you can see, we've got a matrix visualization here. Let's actually go ahead and go to the view, go into selection. Here you can see we're grabbing the matrix. Let's go ahead and then go into the visualizations tab. All I really want to do is get this value here to actually fit. So it might take a second for me to actually find that, but here we can go ahead and go to values. That's not doing anything. I believe this is in, could be in column subtotals. Row subtotals. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the size 10, and then what we're going to do is make that fit. And then what I want to do as well is change these colors. So here you can see we've got a blue map, which represents the map if you click confirm cases, and then you have a map for total deaths. For confirmed cases, I just don't like the color choices made here, so I'm going to get rid of the low and high legend there. Again, it's kind of hard to see the way I'm doing this. Let me get rid of these things. This is the blue map. So here you can see that we're using total confirmed cases. Let's change the fill color here from, we'll just go kind of up the blue scale here. Let's see what that looks like. Let's actually make the center a bit darker. Okay. The reason I want to do this is when we're in the mobile dashboard and you click confirm cases, I want it really clear that this is a map that represents cases, in which case, it's kind of all attributed with blue. On the red, I want the same thing, right? So if we control click here, we're actually switching to this red map. The first thing I want to do with this red map is the same exact thing we just discussed, which is go in here to the fill colors and just change these to red, right? So we'll do a light red, a dark red, and a darker red, right? So now when we're clicking confirm cases and total deaths, it's a better color choice for what we're trying to do, and it's just going to make our mobile dashboard look a heck of a lot better. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and start thinking about what our mobile layout is going to look like. First thing that we should go ahead and do is add our slicer to the mobile view, but first let's talk about how we get to the mobile view. So in your top menu here under view, go to mobile layout. Here you'll find a list of page visuals that can be added just by clicking and dragging over. In this case, what I would like to do is start with the slicer. The slicer actually, just to help you out, is not this first gray visible one, but the second one down here. So I can pull that up here. Now we have the slicer. Let's just resize it, and we're ready to go. Next thing I want to do is look at adding actually some of the styling of the tabs that you saw on the desktop dashboard. There's a blue tab that goes around confirmed cases and a red or a pink one that goes over total deaths. So I want to recreate that pretty simply by adding in a couple shapes. Now, what you're going to notice is you can't just add things into the mobile view. What you actually need to do is add them into the view and then somehow hide them behind content that you'll see within the dashboard itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and insert a shape. The shape that we want to insert is something that looks somewhat like a tab. So let's grab this rounded top with a square bottom. And again, right now, we just don't really care what size we put it at. We just want to make sure that we're going to hide it behind something. So let's put it here now. And let's go ahead and change the color of that. So if we go to style, I've already picked the color. We will put that in the blog post, so you should be able to grab that easily. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a couple of logistic things here. So let's look at the selection area. Here you can see we've got a shape. Let's rename this. We'll call this M for mobile underscore blue tab. And then we're going to know that's the blue tab. Let's move that to the bottom. Okay. What you're going to notice is it's now hidden. So it's in the dashboard, but it's actually hidden behind something. This is actually going to let us add it to the mobile view. Such a silly thing that you have to do that. I haven't found another way to add it. If there is, then that would be great. But at this time, this is kind of the trick that I've been using for mobile views. So let's actually look at that blue tab. Let's click on it. We're going to copy and paste. We're going to call this one, lets us type. We're going to call this pink tab. Do the same thing. We're going to move it down here. Doesn't really matter if it's before or after the blue. And we're going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to change the style of this one as well. And I've already got that code for you. DD4455. Hit enter. You're going to see we have both of those tabs. Now, let's go to the mobile layout view. Now, you're going to see that we actually have the blue tab and the red tab. So we'll size these, to a more specific size later. Something I didn't do, which I could go to the mobile or go back to the desktop view to do, is change the outline here. You can see it's blue. It's okay for the blue one to have a blue background, but I want this one to maybe have a lighter red background. So let's just do it in the mobile view, and I'm going to show you something that actually is pretty unique to the mobile view. Is if I actually change the color of the border here to, let's just say, more of a reddish color. I kind of want it to be kind of bright red. I'll just pick anything arbitrarily. Here you can see that it's changed, but if you click on here, you're going to notice this thing right here. This is saying that this formatting is actually only happening on the mobile layout. If you go to the desktop layout, and you were to look at that tab again, if it lets me, let's move it out, you can see it's still blue. Okay, so you can actually make edits to some of the content in the mobile view in terms of formatting, and it will look different than it looks in the desktop view. It's a little limited in terms of what's available, but in terms of font sizes, colors, that kind of thing, even alignment, you'll see you can actually customize that for the mobile view only. Right. The next thing I want to add to my mobile dashboard is actually these two numbers here, the 33 million, 33.5 million, and the 600,000. I don't want to pull a fatality rate into my dashboard. It just isn't. It isn't as relevant for a mobile view. I want to keep things a little bit more high level. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to create a copy of this, which I did not do. Thought I did. There we go. Create a copy of this, and what I actually want to do is not have USA and not have any of the countries. I just want a total. And then what you can't see here is there's some titles here, 4 confirmed cases and total deaths. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put instead of matrix, I'm going to move it to the bottom and call this im underscore, we'll just call it totals. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to look at the visualization itself, and I'm going to get rid of case fatality rate. Just really don't need it for what I want to do here. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of states. I'm actually going to debating between a matrix and a table view, but we'll work with the formatting once we get into the dashboard itself, because we're going to have to move these things around and go back and forth between desktop and mobile view to make it work. But let's maybe just, for the sake of this, go ahead and move it behind methodology. You can see it's already at the bottom of the list, so it's going to be hidden. But if we click on this, let's go ahead and look at values. Let's make them a little bit bigger if we can. Let's do 12 and bold. Okay, you can already see that we get some wrapping. So let's make this a little bit bigger. We'll make this a little bit bigger. So now it's going to actually show up in mobile view a little bit wider. And then one of the things that probably is going to make sense for us to do here is to center these. So let's go ahead and go to specific columns, and let's center both confirmed cases and total deaths is already centered. Okay. All right. Now that's hidden. Let's go to the mobile view. Let's pull it in. Let's see kind of what it looks like. All right. Here you can see that we've got pretty much centered our confirmed cases and total deaths. Now, the next thing that you're going to have to do is go back to the desktop view and the mobile view and start working with the size of these headers, getting rid of these grid lines, which we can. If you have questions on that, feel free to post in the blog post. I'm at this point there's so much finesse involved in this that it would take a really long video for me to get this right. So I'm going to do this separately, and then we'll come back. I've actually been playing with this a bit and wanted to share something that I did to make this work. So I won't show you the final product until after a little bit of tweaking, but there is essentially what I've been doing is you kind of go back and forth between this and totals and kind of move things back and forth, and you try to get them lined up. I don't think that you're actually going to be able to do it without something in between these two measures. And so what I'm going to do is actually create a blank measure, and we're literally just going to call it blank, and it's going to be just a space. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the blank in between confirmed cases and total deaths, if it'll let me do that. And then I will name this a space so that nothing shows up. The value will be a space, and I should be able to take that and move it around a little bit, and then hopefully this is going to make editing this a little bit easier. Let's see what this looks like. And we're getting there. So I'm going to actually be moving that around a little bit, making the total deaths a little bit smaller, and then I can control how far it goes out with that middle view. If it's a little bit if you're a little bit unsure what I mean, just go ahead and add a blank in here, and you'll see that you can move these column headers around until you get really what you're looking for. It's getting closer. So I'll play with this a bit, and then we'll kind of come back to it. All right, now that we've got everything lined up, let's go ahead and the cumulative confirmed cases and deaths. Here you can see if you click on cumulative, you just have a cumulative view. I don't want to just put these in the dashboard. The reason being is if I click daily increment, you go to the mobile view, you're not going to see cumulative. And again, just for keeping this exercise somewhat manageable, I'm just asking that we put a cumulative chart in here. So let's go ahead and create a copy of these two charts. Again, I'm just going to make sure that we get it in position to be hidden, and then we'll work on editing it. Actually, let's just edit the mobile view. It's going to be a little bit easier. There we go. So, as long as I move these down to the bottom, it should appear hidden. Okay. Well, looks like they're a little bit too big, so let's make them a bit smaller. There. There you go. Looks hidden to me. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just do m_cases underscore deaths. Let's call it cases chart. Deaths. Okay. And now that that's hidden, let's go back to our mobile view here. Let's pull in deaths. We'll pull it under deaths. We'll pull it in cases. We'll pull it under cases. The big thing here is we just want to get rid of, you know, our timeline. We know what the timeline is by looking up here. Let's go ahead and get rid of our X and Y axis. You can see it's already done that for us. Here, let's make it the size of the tab. Let's make this a little bit wider. Let's get rid of the Y-axis there. Let's turn on data labels. Data labels for that, and data labels for this. Now, one of the things I really like to do here is just go ahead and choose a different color. I just feel like it's just going to look a little bit better. You can decide to do this if you'd like to. It's kind of up to you. But let's go ahead and make this a little bit of a lighter view. So if you go to columns here and then you go to colors, I'm going to actually pull a color from over here that I was using before. So we'll make it a little bit of a lighter red, and then getting a red color from the other side of my screen. So here you can see we've got a little bit of a softer red and softer blue. Now with the labels, what I'd really like to do is see a little bit of a darker color here. So let's go ahead and go with like a dark blue, and let's bold it, see what that looks like. Let's actually go darker. Let's go like that color, like that. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Okay, a little bit, pops a little bit more. And here we'll do the color as maybe a dark red or a bright red. I think a bright red would work better. Let's go with a brighter red. Just this bright red before it's a little bit too red. Let's go ahead and just, for the fun of it, just kind of pick a color that we think we'd like. Sure, that's good. All right, so now we have our charts, and these are going to stay the entire time that we're on the mobile dashboard, regardless of whether you click from cases or deaths. This is just going to be a persistent couple charts. The next part of this is going to be a little bit easier. Now we're actually just going to pull in confirmed cases map. We're going to look at, let's see if we can get a full-size map here. With the full-size map, and then underneath we're going to put some text, but for now we're gonna leave it as is. And then the other thing that we were going to pull in is the red map. So let's go ahead and change the state. If you go to bookmarks, there's already a bookmark called blue state and pink state. So if you click pink state, or I guess pink map, yeah, sorry, pink map, then you can be in the state where we actually show the pink map. And I might go back and forth just to see where I put everything. So the blue map starts there. It goes to left. So if we do the pink map, we can start in the same spot and end in the same spot. Next thing, let's go ahead and add that button control when we would show the confirmed cases map versus the total deaths map. So what we'll do here is we will go out of the mobile layout into the desktop layout. We will do our trick of inserting a button. Let's do a blank button. You can do this in the mobile view or in the desktop view. Let's just go ahead and for the style, shape rather, it's rectangle, the state's default, the style. Do not want to fill. However, appears to still have a fill. So under looks like we've got a background. So let's turn that background off. Now we have a blank button. Let's call this button. We'll go ahead and call this confirmed case do. Let's just do this in underscore button underscore cases. And then let's take that button. Let's copy and paste it. And let's say that this is for deaths. All right, let's move those down to the bottom here so we can hide them. And then in the case of deaths, what we're going to want to do is have an action. And if you remember, there's a pink map and a blue map action in our bookmarks. So let's go ahead and go to bookmark. Here you can see that we're going to want, if we click deaths, we're going to want the pink map. So let's go ahead and do that. And in cases, we're going to want to do the bookmark with the blue map. Okay, now these are going to be set up as soon as we click them to show the correct map using the logic of the desktop dashboard, using the bookmarks that have already been created. So let's go ahead and go back to the mobile view. Once we're here, we're going to want to insert those new buttons. So here you can see we've got this button. That's for cases, which is good. Let's go ahead and drag it to the dimensions that we want to have it. Let's do it just so that it can be around the number or the tab itself. Now let's go ahead and grab this one. And this is for deaths. We'll do the same thing. All right. Let's go ahead and move this down. While we're at it, let's go ahead and change the name of these. Confirmed cases by state. It's the same name for both the red one and the blue one. The red one's up top. However, if we go to the blue map grouping here in the selection tool, you can see we've got confirmed cases by state. And we know that the confirmed cases by state on the blue map, this is actually confirmed cases by state, but this is deaths by state. They had mislabeled. So let's call it deaths by states. Go to the mobile layout. Now you can easily tell which one's showing. One quick obvious thing that I missed is let's make sure that we put these buttons on the top. So when we click them, we're not clicking on the tab or the KPIs there. So that'll be important for us to bookmark to the correct map. Last thing I'm going to want to do is insert a text at the bottom of the mobile layout. To explain that to change the map, you need to click confirm cases or total deaths. So let's go ahead and go back to the desktop view. We're going to insert a text box. We're going to already typed this in, but we'll say click the tabs above to change the map between confirmed cases and total deaths. In our typical fashion, we will hide this behind this area. I'm going to call this m_text box so that we know it's just for the mobile view. We'll move it at the bottom, and it's in. So let's go ahead and go back to the mobile view. Let's grab that text. Next step, let's go ahead and save. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is publish this to your own workspace. This doesn't require anything other than standard Power BI. You don't need any special licensing. I think to publish mobile views, you do. I'm not exactly sure. I think some of the other folks on Workout Wednesday were saying that you need certain credentials to be able to publish a view out, publicly that can be used with the mobile view. But for this example, let's go ahead and put it in your own workspace. And once you publish it to that, what I'm going to ask is that we download Power BI app on our phone. If you don't have a phone, we can call this the end of the challenge. It's good to know how to create this mobile layout, and getting you to this point shows that you're able to do that. But the next part should be fun. So go ahead and stick around if you'd like to add this on your iPhone and actually create a shortcut to get through it through Siri. All right, the next thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is actually download the Power BI app on your Android or iPhone device. One thing that's important to note, when you actually publish a dashboard with a mobile view, you will see two versions of that. The mobile version, I believe, is in a purple, which I'll show you here in a second, but go ahead and download the app. What you'll do first is you're going to click on My Workspace, and here you can see blue is normal reports, purple is the mobile report. Once you're actually into the report, you can start to navigate, change dates. Here, let's go ahead and click on Total Deaths. And once we get there, we can click on Illinois, we can click on Texas, we can click on California, and here you can see the death totals and the trend lines for those specific states. Now let's go ahead and create a Siri shortcut. So go to the top right, go to Siri, very easily just say, Siri, open COVID report. And now we've set a shortcut for our dashboard. Hey Siri, open COVID report. That's it for this week's Workout Wednesday. Thank you guys for participating and looking forward to our next challenge.